All right. Little boogie music on Thursday at 3 p.m. We're back with another edition of Lake Orion Cares podcast. Orion Strong, as you can see on the screen there. I want to welcome everybody for tuning in again to this edition of LO Cares. Last week's we had some technical problems that hopefully we fixed. We've got Joe Johnson here with us.
How's it going, Ian?
Doing well. Mr. Johnson, how are you?
Trying to stay sane in isolation.
Another week of the shutdown and trying to get things organized and messages out there to the community. Now, you were out and about. We can tease some stuff coming up on the podcast. You were out and about this week getting some pretty interesting things.
Yeah, a little throwback to yesteryear. Coming up, we'll talk about a local gas station that's offering full service, which we haven't seen in a long time. And for the first time, I'm able to report some news that is not COVID-19 related. I'm excited about that. So we'll have that coming up a little bit later.
Is that even allowed these days? I'm wondering. Okay, that's awesome. And we've got some other things coming up, too, which we'll preview in just a bit. Of course, this is the podcast, right? This is the LO Cares podcast. We're ONTV and the township together, trying to bring you guys some interesting information, proper news, official, all that good stuff. And if you need anything, as you can see on the screen, if you're watching on Orion Neighborhood Television, you can call the township hotline at 248-391-0304, extension 3507. School district info is also on the screen for updated information. Oakland County and NODA, if you need a ride, 248-693-7100. Like we said on the podcast, every week we try to bring you some new information and some guests to share what's happening in and around Orion Township. So this week, in just a moment, we were able to get a couple of guests who hail from the village of Lake Orion. Village Council President Ken Van Portfliet will be with us. Village Manager Joe Young will also be web calling in. It's an interview we recorded earlier this week, as they are busy individuals. So hopefully no technical issues this week, and we'll get that thing rolling for you momentarily. But make sure you spread the word about the podcast. It's live again every Thursday at 3 on Facebook. Be sure to follow Orion Neighborhood Television on Facebook and the Orion Cares Facebook group to see these podcasts every week. Make sure you share it with all your friends and family. And if you just need a diversion and see Joe and I act silly with webcams and try to give you some information, maybe entertain you, maybe make you laugh, that's kind of the goal of this whole thing. But yeah, you can watch the podcast on replays as well as other news items on our website located at orionontv.org. And if you're looking for some information about COVID related, we do have a dedicated button that I'm hovering over here. It's COVID-19 news and videos, and when you scroll over to that thing, click on the button, it can take you to the whole list, a playlist of all these different videos from Township Supervisor Chris Barnett, who has a daily update about what's happening around town, PSAs about safe practices, the Red Cross, videos from the state government and the governor's office about what's happening here in our state, COVID related. And as always, you can watch us again at orionontv.org, but we're also on Roku. So if you have a Roku device, you can check us out on there by loading the Cablecast channel to your channel lineup. Once you do that, all you do is search for Orion Neighborhood Television, and we pop right up, and you can see all of our programming in beautiful high definition. Well, let's see. If you'd like to reach out to the podcast here at LO Cares, email us at ontv@orionontv.org. Make sure that you put LO Cares in the email heading, and you can also call us at 248-393-1060. So we're always looking for those positive messages, all that good stuff, news, happy things around town. We're not all doom and gloom here at the LO Cares podcast. All right, Weather forecast for the remainder of the week. Friday, partly cloudy, high of 55 and a low of 34. Saturday, overcast, 50% chance of showers in the evening with a high of 54 and a low of 38. Sunday, cloudy with a high of 51 and a low of 34. Slight chance, about 20% for rain. And we're currently sitting about 39 degrees. Now, the forecast said roughly 70% chance of rain, but we've upped that to 100% because it is currently raining outside here in Lake Orion. Now for some of the top headlines, our little news bits that we pulled off of local news beats and from feeds that we get from the state. The governor, again, announced that she will be sharing details of her administration's plan to reopen the state. Yes, her plans to reopen the state. ONTV will have the news conference for video-on-demand viewing roughly 2 hours after it airs. So, yeah, be out on the lookout for Friday for that news conference over at orionontv.org. I'm very curious to see what those details are and the time frame. Orion Township has announced that lawn maintenance companies can now begin cutting grass again. That is a big announcement. And allowing grass cutting services to begin operations again was seen as a public health service, which, according to Orion Township, falls within the governor's executive orders. You can read the township's announcement on their website at oriontownship.org, and I have it here, their website here on the screen if you're watching at home. And if you scroll down, it's right there, new. So take a read of that. Already saw grass companies out cutting over by Carpenter Elementary School and over at the Orion Center. So some businesses are out and about. So that's a positive sign. Something else, some good news. Oakview Middle School, we got this from outside too, so this was emailed into Orion Neighborhood Television. Oakview Middle School teachers met up this morning, Thursday, April 23rd at 7:45 a.m. to cheer on one of their own blessings as she left her last chemo treatment at Beaumont Royal Oak. Liz Morgan, an 8th grade ELA teacher at Oakview, a teacher in LO for 25 years, was fighting her second bout with cancer, and she has been off of work since October, and the teachers have been providing dinners, making chemo care packages, and sending cards to Morgan since that time. Currently, the Oakview staff are donating funds to gift Morgan DoorDash gift cards. Though it was early this morning, the staff lined the streets around Lake Orion, around Shadbolt, Jackson, and Flint Street to send their love to their friend and colleague as she came home from the hospital. Throughout the day, teachers also left signs in her yard of encouragement. I'm sure that's quite the sign, or quite the scene there in the village welcoming Miss Morgan home from the hospital. We thank Oakview 6th grade teacher Christine Cutchin for sharing that very good news with us here at the LO Cares podcast. All right, finally. It's another great story. Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry was gifted a windfall this past week from a grant through the United Way, State Farm Insurance, and Kroger. Close to $30,000 was presented to fish to help them stock their shelves for the hungry in the Orion, Oxford, and Addison areas. The calls to fish have been growing over the past week, as can be expected. If you or your family are in a food emergency, reach out to Fish at 248-628-3933. Fish is here to help. $30,000 goes a long way to help the hungry here in our community. So congratulations and thank you, United Way and State Farm, for that generous grant and donation. Again, if you'd like to send LO Cares some good news, email us at ontv@orionontv.org. We are always looking for those good stories to share with everybody around town. Again, I'm your announcer, Ian Locke, here with Joe Johnson once again on the podcast. And we roll into week 4 of the LO Cares podcast, and we're still settling into these new routines of sheltering in place, as many of us are, spending a lot of time at home lately. Our local government, though, is still out there working hard for the residents of Lake Orion and the village of Lake Orion. Local government meetings are back online in a virtual environment. We just had 4 meetings this week, and the previous week we had 4 meetings. So things are starting to come around. The meetings are in a modified format, but the village business has not missed a beat. So Village Manager Joe Young and Village Council President Ken Van Portfliet called into the Yellow Podcast about a day ago to share some village news and affairs. And let's hope I can get that discussion on the air for you without delay. So let's give it a try. Here we go. All right, moving into our first segment here on the LO Cares podcast. Have a couple of VIPs here on the podcast today with us. Like we mentioned in the intro, we're talking about the village today. What's happening in the village? What's going on? A lot of people, the last couple of podcasts have been about township in general, but village is very active as well. And we have Ken Van Portfliet with us, Village Council President, longtime resident of Lake Orion, and our Village Manager, Joe Young. Welcome, guys, to the Lake Orion Cares podcast. Appreciate you guys taking some time to sit with us and share information with the community about what's happening in the village.
Hi, Ian. Thank you for inviting us to participate today. We're glad to be here and to reach out to our citizens and help them know that we're all working hard to make sure that everyone stays safe and hopefully everybody's staying healthy.
Absolutely. And Joe, you've been busy. The meetings, your village council meetings have gotten back up. This view we see on the screen here, if you're watching on Orion Neighborhood Television, we're getting kind of used to seeing our colleagues in this manner.
Right.
Is it getting any easier?
Well, the thing about it with the virtual meetings is you get to see the people as they're talking, which when you're sitting in the council chamber, they're sitting next to each other, so you can't see each other. So one plus of having virtual meeting is you do get to see and hear better, for sure. So I'm going to miss that part. In a way, I hope we kind of somehow work something out. We can still keep that option available. Just how we can make things better to engage the public, get them more involved, which is an awesome way. The virtual opportunities we have to, the media we have available today. But there's a lot been going on in the community. We've been keeping it safe and clean as best we can. And the police department's, of course, been out there doing their thing and keeping everything safe, and everything's been in good order and not any major concerns out there at this point. So that's a big item is the police department safety for everyone. And we're out there checking to see if there's any special needs for people. And as you mentioned earlier about the Orion Cares group, we meet on Monday with everybody helping in the community, helping one another. That's certainly a great community pride thing, and helping all those that are in need and know what's going on.
Absolutely. The group on Monday, if the community is just tuning in, this is the Lake Orion Cares podcast. We work in conjunction with Orion Neighborhood Television and the COVID-19 response team, which all three of us sit on that response team. And every Monday at 9:30, we do the same thing. We get onto a multi-screen like this, and we talk about how can we help the residents, what's happening, are there any special needs from others, from hunger to, I think this past week we had a well issue. Somebody had a problem with their well, and lo and behold, somebody on that task force raised their hand and said, I can fix it, or I can at least take a peek at it and diagnose. It's amazing how these, hiccups come up, everyday life that our residents have, but there's always somebody there to help. And the same thing is happening in the village. I know any projects going on that we should be aware of that are coming down, that might disrupt traffic or anything. I know the answer to this, but I'm just asking the question. I say, yes. Yeah, Ken, why don't you take that one?
I'd like to say that, although everybody is shut down, this has been one of the busiest times for our admin staff. Joe and everybody here is working super to make sure that we stay on top of things, all the way from meetings with GLEWA to Water Resource Commission. These are all virtual meetings, to Eagle, to county, to state, and White House. So we're staying on top of everything. And we had one meeting that we just got done with, which was the M24 pre-con meeting about the corridor improvement all the way from Harriet Street up through the village of Oxford. And there's some things we like to make sure the citizens know out there, such as they're going to be bumping around here next week. They'll start doing some additional measuring. Technically, you'll think that the project has started. And then May 8th, they're going to come in and start doing the actual physical curb improvements and so on and so forth. And keep in mind that we're just doing a mill repave here in our community in the village. And then as it gets up by Drainer Road and Oxford, that's where it will be a full reconstruct on the roadway. So a lot going on there. And we also have our Heights Road water project that we've resumed, which is east of Bellevue on Heights Road all the way to Lakeville Road. And that started this week. And our guys are out there practicing social distancing, not us, our contractor, Fontana, practicing social distancing, making sure they've got masks on, all of the things that we need to do to make sure everybody stays safe. And that started again so as well.
And, you know, anytime you throw construction in when in normal conditions, it can throw you for a loop. But under these specific circumstances, it could be even more difficult. Do you anticipate any? I mean, like you said, it's still busy. I mean, you go out and about. There's still people going about their lives. Still have to go out get food. People are still going to work. I mean, you guys are going to work. I'm still going to work into the studio at ONTV. We're still doing what we're doing because of our link to the community. But yeah, it's just amazing the work those your contractors are doing under the circumstances, under this duress that we're dealing with. Joe?
Well, the Fontana construction works and accommodates the local people in traffic. We get compliments from the community about accommodating there, which does affect the safety and the timeliness of the project, but it's going well. And Fontana's out there getting things done as quick as possible. And of course, with the less traffic, it means they're going to be more productive. And hope the sooner we'll get it back open. But it is close to through traffic. It's open to local traffic, Heights Road. And we're looking forward to that. We also, I did want to mention back on the M24 project, one of the key elements of that is some improvements at Pelton's Point and the Bridgeway. We're going to have a pedestrian crosswalk there.
Oh,
that will be signalized. And Detroit Edison is scheduled to come in the first week of May to bring in the power for that signal, pedestrian crossing lighting that's going to be there at Pelton's Point, besides some improvements to the bridge area and widening the sidewalk over the dam itself, over the creek itself. So
that's great news. As you know, with all the festivals going on downtown, Dragon on the Lake, the arts, the horseshoe tournaments, all that stuff, people walking over to the lake to see the lake, that's going to be a nice addition to pedestrian traffic, to a little safer than the rubbernecking chicken across the M24 trying to get to the village to the lake.
Yeah. Yep. A mid-block crossing.
Fantastic. That's great.
And
that's the first I heard that one.
On the road construction project, as Ken mentioned, was from Oxford Drainer North is total reconstruction, and the detour is scheduled to be around Memorial Day, the northbound detour where you're going to have to turn at Drainer and go up Oxford and Glassby to Ray Road. That'll be, they said today, the target date is near Memorial Weekend that'll actually come into play. They've got some preparation work, signal work to make, and some paving work ahead of time to get that happening. But they're moving forward. And the good news is they're still scheduled to have it open by November 14th of this year.
Wow.
So contrary to the delay, they're still looking to having that roadway back open again. Of course, as I mentioned, our area, we're getting some concrete curb work and sidewalk work and some bridge work. And they are redoing the intersection at Indianwood and Elizabeth Street, I'm sorry. That'll be part of the major component in the village and township area. So the village will be impacted by that. And we're looking forward to that project moving on. And again, the less traffic, the more effective and safer it's going to be for them to do the work. But we want to get people back on the road and being active in our downtown area, which I guess will lead into our downtown and our businesses. You know, one of the things we mentioned about people helping in one another is we've got 2 businesses, well, 3 or 4 businesses really. They're helping with mask and hand sanitizer downtown with, you know, Ed's Broadway Gift and Broadway Embroidery and Sarah's Boutique and M&B Graphics and a number of other businesses helping out.
Heritage Weaving.
Along with that. I'm sorry.
Heritage Weaving as well.
Oh yes, Heritage Weaving. Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people helping out and specific needs.
Which is fantastic, you know, altering regular business practices to respond to the needs of their friends and neighbors, right?
Yes. Yeah. And one of the key things too with this whole reopening we're happening soon, which by the way, I forgot to say Happy Earth Day today.
Everybody
know that today, April 22nd.
Go plant a tree.
Right. We're going to be getting those trees, by the way. Oakland is the 200th anniversary of Oakland County, and we signed up to get some oak trees, and they're planning to deliver those. I think they said the week of May 18th. And so we'll be looking to distribute those throughout the community. So
that's
our
fantastic.
part is contributing to Earth Day, the 50th anniversary, and the 200th anniversary of Oakland County. The village will be involved with getting some new oak trees out throughout the community.
Are there any services that have been disrupted slightly or delayed in the village that people should know about? I know.
Well, the big one for us is the leaf collection. If you bag the leaves, they will be picked up. And
okay.
Our normal curbside leaf pickup is suspended at this time. So we're encouraging those that still have leaves out there, which I don't think there are that many, thank goodness, because people have had time to go out there and rake them. And I know a lot of them have bagged them, which helps a lot. But, you know, certainly mowing the grass is going to be coming up here soon. Matter of fact, I think we're going to start doing that this week.
Okay.
To keep things trim and in order. So, and keeping the downtown clean, you know, keeping obviously the water systems working, the storm sewer systems and working properly. So a lot of ongoing things that are being monitored, including the level of the lake. As you know, we control the dam and the blocks in there. And I know people were happy to see the lake level raised so they could get their boats out there. But unfortunately, unless you're rowing, I can't do much else.
Or using wind.
Right. Yeah. But hopefully that'll change soon.
We reduced some of our staff activity to practice the social distancing and also just for safety concerns for our staff. So instead of having multiple DPW workers out there on a project, we started splitting them up on single man jobs only. And then just recently, yesterday, we were successful in securing testing for our essential workers.
Oh.
So that will help us again. So we've already scheduled up a couple of people to go get tested that had concerns. We didn't want any of our employees to risk anything and possibly bring it home.
Correct.
And so that will help peace of mind. And it'll help us as well when we've got to go to somebody's house. We know that we're not a carrier or possibly possess some antibodies. Who knows? But
absolutely, that's good information to share. I know we at ONTV, we get those questions all the time. So we luckily are media based. So we have laptops and cameras and all the things we have here at home. And it was easy for us to transition. But, you know, we're always trying to look for some normalcy, especially with the people that we work with, the residents who produce programming. And these podcasts have been a great avenue for residents to voice their opinion and get their thoughts shared because, you know, confined to the four walls after a little while, they start to squeeze in a little bit. And having, you know, an outlet to share your thoughts and things, you know, in a Zoom fashion, which we are using today, is always a good way to relieve some stress. At least I feel so. As far as your website, now let me put this up on the screen. The village website is loaded with information.
Good.
You have so much stuff out there that we encourage all of our viewers to get out there to take a peek at it. LakeOrion.org. couldn't be any simpler than that, right? And
Right.
I notice, I mean, you have information about, businesses, the government, the meeting information, so they can watch the meetings live or on delay, if so they can really get to the nuts and bolts of what's happening inside the village, downtown information, and especially your COVID-19 information that's posted on here is fantastic. A lot of information, the press releases, community resources through Orion Township and Oakland County. And I have to say, it's easy to navigate. It's easy to find information. So kudos on that for whoever threw your site together. They did a nice job.
Well, Michelle Overton, we can thank her.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to
Melanie,
I'd
Nicole,
like to
and
just-
Susan.
I'd just like to speak of a couple of other things going on in the community as far as new news that we'd like to get out there.
Yeah,
The-
absolutely.
Yeah, our annual flower fair that's scheduled for the first week of May has been canceled. So we apologize about that. It's always a well-attended, really good event here in the village. Not this season. We're waiting to hear about that will go into June and July. We don't know yet. People are hinging, some of the organizers are hinging on the governor's new information that she should be releasing within the next couple of weeks about the possibility of a phase-in program. So we'll see what that looks like. What's the new normal?
Yeah,
What's it
exactly.
going to be? Yeah. And I just wanted to touch base with our community about this is budget time. And the council's working extremely hard. Our village manager and staff again are working very hard. We realize that there's going to be a shortage of funds from the state level, from the federal. We are looking at the low revenues from water and sewer. Our restaurants are not active. We're looking at possibility of reduced home values. We're looking at the hardships that will be placed upon people here in our community, and we're taking action to do the very best preparation and analyzing of our current budget and reduce it, or whatever we may be able to do to assist with our plight or the difficulties here of the citizens.
Yes.
Joe, you got anything you'd like to add to that?
Just to say that, the village is in good financial condition right now, but the duration of this economic downturn, how long it'll take to bring it back is obviously key, and we're holding off on any expenditures at this point of any we can hold off as possible to see what can stabilize as far as the state income and the water and sewer revenues as well.
We're out in the
Yeah,
community.
go ahead. Sorry, Ken.
Yeah, we're out in the community, walking around. The council members are. Joel's out. I'm out. We're talking with business owners here. We've got a pretty stable takeout restaurant venue going on in the community.
Yeah.
Which
If
is
you
good to
haven't
hear.
Pardon?
Which is great to hear.
Yeah, we've got some traffic lineups in some cases. We encourage people to go out and get that takeout food, support the businesses that are still operating. And our DDA is doing a fantastic job. They're working hard as well with conducting like our downtown business partners virtual meetings, stay in communication with the businesses, give them the opportunity to voice what they need, what's going on, where's the pain, so on and so forth. So we're all working really hard because we're concerned. As you had stated earlier, we had a really good growth opportunity here going on in the village. We had 4 new restaurants opening up between October and January.
Yeah.
And we have high concerns for some of those. And we're going to do everything we can to help them with a rebound when this gets over with. So we're looking at what's the phasing in process going to be from the governor. How's the county helping us? The county, we just got off of another webinar today. The county's really working hard as well. The MEDC is. There's a number of people we'd like to thank there, all the way from our executive to Dan Hunter and his staff over there, John Bry. Everybody's working really, really hard trying to help our communities as well. We're staying right in there with making sure they know our needs and communicating to them everything that we need to do to help our businesses here. Hopefully, we'll have everybody return and everybody bounce right back up as quick as possible.
Which is great news to hear, and it's encouraging. We're always looking for something encouraging in these times, and to hear any positive news is a good way to get your mindset for what's next, right? One thing I'd like to bring up before we wrap up here with you guys, which, again, you're watching the Lake Orion Cares podcast here. It's all Village all the time today on the podcast, and we're joined by Ken Van Portfliet and Joe Young from the Village. And the census. We always want to push out the census. We can't understate how important it is or overstate how important it is for people to fill out the census. And would you like to talk on that in about 2 minutes?
As of yesterday, the village was at 55% participation. We need to have more per person in the community. It represents an $18,000 amount of federal and state revenue that our community will receive over a 10-year period. $18,000 by the other 45% of our remaining village people that haven't done a census is serious dollars. We are participating with Orion Township in a combined effort to get the census note information out there. And the last calculation we did, it represented between the two communities about $213 million.
Wow.
It takes about 4 minutes to go do the census. One of the things that people need to know is if you're concerned about putting in that you're Dutch or Scottish, because it'll ask you a number of questions. If you're concerned about any of those questions, don't answer them. You can still send in the census and get counted by just simply telling how many people in your household. That's the important piece that needs to be done. Because we've had some people say, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to give that information up. No need.
Yep.
So we're really encouraging. We've got some new signage coming around. Push, 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 push.
Absolutely. And I know we'll be on the podcast and on ONTV. If ever you guys want to push anything else out, just let me know. We'll get the message out to everybody at home. Again, I just want to say thank you for you guys taking time out of your busy day. I know you guys are out there all the time, all day, every day, working for the residents of the village and the township in general. I mean, you guys are all over helping everybody. So again, thank you so much for stopping in and taking the time, and I'll see you guys at the next meeting, of course, as we're starting to get used to seeing each other's faces in these little squares. And again, like we said, it was all village all the time on the LO Cares podcast today. And again, I'll flash up the website. Make sure you stop over to the website, lakeorion.org, and get all of your information on either COVID or meeting information, news on the government, downtown information, businesses. Get out, grab a takeout order. And to wrap that up, thanks, guys. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, LO Cares.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Yes. And have a good day, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
All right, great interview with the guys from the village, village manager Joe Young and Ken Van Portfliet. And like we said before, hop on over to their website, Lake Orion. You can't miss it. Great stuff over there, as you saw on the podcast. Don't want to retread all that, but great stuff. I really appreciate them coming in. Again, you're watching the LO Cares podcast. I'm Ian Locke, and with me is Joe Johnson. And good. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was the first time we recorded anything in this crazy setup we have here, and it worked out well. And we're going to be doing more of that as the podcast rolls along, as we are what we are these days. But so Joe and I were chatting off camera just before we went live, and we were saying there's so many different things happening around town that people might not be aware of, you know? And in this age of what we're dealing with, I saw an interesting discussion take place on Facebook, of all places. An interesting discussion actually took place on Facebook, Joe. And it was about, you know, with everybody being home and more time with their families, people are starting to bake more. People are starting to play games, you know, like things that we used to do when we were, you know, like in the 70s and the early 80s with your families.
Charles, I heard that puzzles were really difficult to find, that families were snatching puzzles off the shelf.
I can attest to that for sure. My wife is a avid puzzle builder, or assembler. I'm not sure what the official title is, but she's all over it. And we've been donating or loaning puzzles out to friends and family because we have dozens of them laying around the house. And that's kind of a regular. I think we have 2 puzzles going at once. One's on my dining room table and one's on a coffee table. And when the kids are done with doing some of their homework, they roll over and do a couple pieces. Or, you know, I find my wife sitting there, you know, whittling away at those pieces and going, I'm frustrated, and order my son in, you better finish this, you know. So yeah, puzzles are hot, and we're finding that on Amazon they're sold out in some instances. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook of people sharing pictures of their completed puzzles, and these things are amazing. I almost would hate to destroy them. It seems like they should be framed and hung on the wall, you know?
You go, once you're done, you put all the hours into them. I'm a little twisted in a way because I know my wife loves puzzles, so do I get her the easy ones? No. I try to find the most challenging ones just to see, one, the reaction, and, you know, you get a giggle out of it. But I hate to say it's a time killer, but it does keep your mind going, and it takes your mind off of the news of the day, as we say. Now, you were out and about, and another thing that came back that was a surprise we heard on news, on Joslin Road. Share with us what the heck is going on Joslin Road.
Yeah, so I saw a news story online that a local gas station was offering full service. And my reaction was surprise that this hasn't been offered by more gas stations earlier on in this pandemic. So basically, I rolled up yesterday on the 22nd, and sure enough, there were some women out in front of the gas station wearing masks and practicing the 6 feet distance rule. And if someone were to pull up on specific pumps, I think it was like pump 3 and 4, they were able to stay inside their car, and the employees would run out to the car, take a credit card, swipe the credit card, punch in the zip code, pump your gas for you. And I even witnessed the employee sanitizing the credit card. She would spray it down, wipe it down, and hand it back to you. And if you wanted a receipt, you got a receipt. And talk about, you know, old school and feeling like you're traveling back in time, to see somebody come out and pump your gas for you. That was pretty awesome. They're only offering the service until about 1 p.m., even though I'm sure if somebody pulled up, they would probably make an effort to get out there. But yeah, definitely want to recommend the gas station on Joslin Road, just south of Carpenter Elementary School there.
Yeah, the Sunoco.
If you don't want to touch a pump, just roll up, hand them your credit card, and they'll pump your gas for you. I thought that was really awesome.
So while you're going through this, I have the footage up that you shot. Nice shot of the Mustang, by the way. Had to get that in there, didn't you?
Well, I wasn't sure like how many people were going to roll up, so I'm like, let's fill up my tank. And to top off my tank, it cost $9. As you probably know, gas prices are at an all-time low right now. Another feeling of traveling back in time. When was the last time you paid $1.20 a gallon? This is insane.
Well, $1.20 a gallon at Sunoco, but friends of ours, Sue Berg, one of our volunteers at Orion Neighborhood Television, longtime volunteer, good friend of ONTV, she posted 79 cents a
Holy
gallon
cow.
at
Wow.
Kroger up on M24. Now, she said she did have some Kroger bonus points on there.
Yeah.
But another person said down at Costco, not to be commercial here, but Costco had it at roughly 89, 90 cents a gallon, which
Wow.
is, I don't think I've ever seen it that low. I mean, I was used to 99, 97, back in the 80s, in high school rolling around. But 70, I mean, below 80 cents, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And really, I mean, how many times during this pandemic have you needed to top off your tank? I mean, I hope
That's
gas
the
doesn't
irony.
expire in the tank because I haven't gone through a full tank of gas in weeks. So
Well, that's the irony of it all. It's there was a great meme on Facebook. I keep bringing up Facebook, but the meme was gas prices this low with the way we're not driving is like me winning a comb in a contest. It does me no good, right?
yeah.
So bald guy. If you guys are listening on, not watching the videos, the bald guy winning a comb in a contest. Because every day. I mean, I topped off a half a tank and it cost me, like you said, it was like $9. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And we're not driving what we were doing before, and so you can't really take advantage of it. But yeah, it's wild. Another one of them flashback things. And baking. My daughter's baking like a crazy lady. I mean, I got churros. I'm getting pretzel buds. I'm getting cakes, cookies. And they said, with people ever being home during the pandemic, it's like you're going to lose on average of 3 to 5 pounds. That's not happening in my house.
I've actually lost probably close to 5 pounds since this started. Yeah, because I always used to be on the go. I would always swing by fast food places to grab lunch or grab a bite to eat. I've almost completely cut out fast food. There is no Coke or Pepsi in my refrigerator. So my diet has completely changed. I'm eating salads and nachos and things like that. But believe it or not, I've lost probably about 5 pounds so far.
Well, you're one of the lucky ones, dude, because I'm like, I can't wait. This is going to be great, and my vegetable content is still, I'm eating my carrots, I'm eating my veggies, and getting my fiber. As you get up there in our ages, you got to eat that fiber. And I'm putting on weight because I'm coming home to these glossy cakes and brownies and comey cookies. I guess a little self-discipline is what I'm in order for here.
Another example of throwing back to the old school days. You know what I find myself tearing through at home is bread, milk, and eggs. The basics, and stop by the store and grab some milk, grab some eggs. I am going through bread, milk, and eggs like crazy. I'm eating sandwiches and making toast for breakfast. And I'm going through those staples pretty quickly.
Well, bringing up groceries like that, the staples and things, some good news. I don't know if it's a sign of the times thing. People kind of, this whole supply chain thing leveling out. I think we talked about the first week of the Yellow Cares podcast, like, bare shelves and elements not on the shelves that we're used to seeing. And we did the Kroger pickup for our family this week. We had to put the order in over a week ago, but it came in this week, and we got in the habit of adding duplicates or doubles because you never knew what you were going to get. And what do you know? They were fully stocked, so I got like double of all these things. I'm like, why do we have 2 of these, or 1 of those, or like 4 of these, But it was a good sign because everything on the list except, I think, butter was the only thing we didn't get. We got the milks, we got the breads, we've got the meats, So it was kind of, hey, that's a good sign.
Yeah, toilet paper seems to be well stocked again. I happened to walk into Target when they were stocking the shelves, and just about everybody I've talked to says that they haven't had any problem finding it. So the industry finally caught up.
And you hope that it's going to continue. You never know with, we saw some trucking issues and supply chain is going to, they said it's usually about 3 weeks out. So we're going to find here probably in May if there's any going to be disruptions based on the ripple effect happening, rolling through our economy. The other thing, what did you have? Oh, we had some good news in the township, right? Word got out that Forgotten Harvest on Mondays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., right? We're down at
Correct.
Civic Center Park in the township. And I heard from Lieutenant Toth at the substation for the Oakland County Sheriff said that there was a backup for people trying to get access to the food all the way, on Walden Road, halfway to Lapeer. It was a huge traffic jam, and I know we have some drone footage of that. I don't know if we have any to share today, but it's out there, and ONT will have it up eventually. But yeah, it's good to see people finally heard that the food is there, and they're coming to get it, and getting those resources that are available to those who need them.
Yeah, I did get out there a couple weeks ago and shot some video on a cold Monday morning. But yeah, people are starting to discover this service and are showing up for it, which is great. Forgotten Harvest does not want to take any food back with them. They want to give it out. They want to get rid of it.
Yep.
I think there's at least one more Monday confirmed. If the stay-at-home order continues, which is a possibility, I'm sure they'd make an effort to get back there for several more Mondays. But yeah, if your family needs to restock the fridge, restock your pantries, go to Forgotten Harvest on Mondays. Also on Mondays and Thursdays, if you have children in your family, you're invited to head over to the Cirque building or Carpenter Elementary, where they're handing out meals to last several days to students up through the age of 18. So for each student you have in your household, you pull up to the north entrance of the Cirque building, and they will walk up to your car and hand you bags of food for the young ones in your family.
No touch, right? So
Right.
It's the volunteers, and you got to give a hand to the volunteers in this in the community who are going out there and collecting the food, organizing it, and and the staff at the Lake Orion Community Schools for what they're doing. The planning of this, the food service department at LOCS is doing a bang-up job keeping this thing running, and the forethought of getting this up and running so quickly has been just a really positive development here for those who are in need of food and stuff, right?
I also want to mention the Orion Center. They're a drop-off location. If you're blessed enough to have some excess groceries, some excess food at home, swing by the Orion Center. It's a drop-off point for donations. I was there about a week ago, and I witnessed some people dropping off food, and I also witnessed a volunteer gathering up food, hopping into his vehicle and driving off to deliver it to somebody in need. And so that's another option too.
And to get on the list, to get access to those goods, you call the township hotline, 248-391-0304, extension 3507, the graphics on the screen. Staff will answer the phone, and you can also email help@oriontownship.org, and people will respond to your requests and or even put it out to the community that, hey, there's a specific need. We'll grab the resources we have, and we'll get them out to you. So there's a whole network of people out there waiting to assist those in need. Circling back to the staff at the Lake Orion Schools, hey, yesterday, I believe, was Administrative Assistants and Secretaries Day, as they used to call it. So celebrating those who are working behind the scenes in the schools. And for us, Tracy Marsh, our Administrative Assistant, way to go, one of the best. Long-term ONTV ad assistant with me, working with Joe and everybody for a number of years, and we're saying thank you for all that you do. And I also have this. I'll pop it up on the screen. Twitter had a nice little thank you to all the secretaries, administrative assistants in the Lake Orion Community Schools. That's out on Twitter. And you got a picture of all, and the names of all the, how many I got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 secretaries out there to say thank you to all you do, and keep up the good work. They really are the engine that drives the schools. Principals get the accolades, but the secretaries are the ones that hold it together. So that's my opinion, of course. But I worked in a school district for over a decade, and I'm telling you, the secretaries hold those places together. All right. We have some other good news, Joe. A Lake Orion High School student was recognized by Channel 7. And let me poke around here trying to pull up that video. I hope I'm saying her name properly, because that's Kamara Champagne. I hope I'm saying that right. So Kamara was recognized as one of their leaders. You know how they always have the senior salute every year for WXYZ. They've been doing it for 30 years. And we are lucky to have the video here, so I'm going to hit play real quick, and just to salute a great senior who's on her way to study education after graduation. So here's a little video from Channel 7 about one of Lake Orion's leaders
to
and
recognize
best.
our seniors that had their years cut short. This is a unique salute. Kamara Champagne. She's the youth cheerleading coach in the Lake Orion area. She volunteered 4 to 5 times a week from July to November with the youth program. She was nominated by one of the cheerleaders' moms, as you see, spent time with that family. She's starting, though, next fall on getting her teaching degree. Kamara, we certainly salute you.
Absolutely. A lot of hard work into that, and to be recognized like that on Channel 7 is always one of those, the seniors see those on Channel 7, they go, ooh. Or the undergrad or the underclassmen see it and they go, ooh, that would be kind of nice to have, And so we have one of Lake Orion's own being recognized. So congratulations to her for all of her hard work and community service. Well deserved there. The senior salute from Channel 7. What else do we have? What am I missing?
We have some good news that's not COVID-19 related.
Hey, it was Earth Day, right?
It was Earth Day on April 22nd, and on Friday the 24th is Arbor Day.
And you were out and about, I believe. And let me try to pull this up. You were talking to Aaron Watley, the director.
Invited me out.
Yep.
They had planned what they described as a virtual tree planting. So I guess anyone watching online, it was virtual, but I got to witness it in 3 dimensions. But Aaron planted a tree on the grounds of the Orion Center in an effort to try and encourage others to do the same thing. So we shot a little video, and if you have that.
Yeah, I do. Here, I have the promo. Yeah, let's hit play, and I'll try to bring it up.
Hi everyone, we're here at the Orion Center, 1335 Joslin Road. The world celebrated Earth Day on April 22nd, 2020. And later on in the week, it was April 24th, and we celebrated Arbor Day. It was a week full of environmental stewardship, and we're encouraging everyone to get out and plant a tree. Why are we doing it? Trees are a huge benefit to the community. They not only give us fresh air, they help filter our drinking water, they help cool our environment, they help reduce energy costs. There's numerous benefits. So I encourage all of you to go out, safe distance, and support our environment, plant a tree, take care of the environment, go clean up. I also want to tell you about our annual Green Up event. So usually we have it right around this time, and the community comes to the Orion Center, picks up project lists and a variety of different things, bags and vests, and they go out throughout the community and they pick up these different sites. We're not going to have it as our traditional way we've had it in the past. This year, from May 11th to May 15th, from 9:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the evening, you can come to the Orion Center. It's 1335 Joslin Road, and you can pick up trash bags and a project list. That way you can go out with your family, with your group, whoever it may be, individually, go pick up our trails, our roadsides, making Orion a little better place, picking up and taking care of the environment. So that's it. And also I wanted to tell everybody that this summer we'll be having a farmer's market out at the Orion Center near the trailhead, the Pollyant Trailhead. and that'll be Wednesday from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's every Wednesday and Saturday this summer. Stay tuned to our Facebook page or the orionparks.com website for more information when it's going to start up, and we look forward to seeing everybody out here. So just because we're encouraged to have social distancing doesn't mean you can't get outside and enjoy nature. So go outside, plant a tree, take care of our environment, and Orion, I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful summer.
That is great news about the farmers market coming to the Orion Center. That's fantastic.
The weather outside hasn't been cooperating much lately, but it's nice to think about spring and what lies ahead. Really excited about the farmers market, having it right on the grounds of the Orion Center. Nothing beats fresh strawberries from the farmers market.
Oh, no, you just got my mouth watering, dude.
And,
Absolutely.
And then, of course, the cleanup. There's no reason why you can't take your family out and spruce up an area near you, or plant a tree. Get out there, get some fresh air. So it's really exciting to talk about stuff that's not all about this pandemic that's going on, and it's kind of nice to think about what lies ahead in spring and summer right around the corner.
Absolutely, and that's why we're doing this, right? Good news. We need good news. We need smiles. We need some good music. Right? Something fun. So we're up against it now. We're about 56 minutes in. We're going to be wrapping up here. Joe, thanks again for sitting in and getting those footage, taking part in this, being my co-host. And we'll be back again next.
Spread good news.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll bring you back. We'll be back next Thursday at 3 right here on Facebook. And have a good weekend, Joe. I'll talk to you. And we should be good to go. And one other thing before we get out of here, don't forget, Orion Strong, Love Inc., working together. Go to Love Inc. and donate today. All cash donations stay local. And I believe their donations have exceeded $5,000. So all those funds donated can stay in Lake Orion to help those in need, our first responders, and all that good stuff. So Orion Strong, that promo is working out well. They even have extra like shirts and masks and hats that you can buy with the Orion Strong logo on it, not just stickers anymore. So get out there and support Orion Strong and Love Inc. as well. That's it for the podcast here for today. LO Cares. I'm Ian Locke. With me is Joe Johnson, and we want to thank you for tuning in and having a good time with us. Hopefully you got a giggle. Hopefully you enjoyed our company for the 1 hour this week. And we'll bring more information and news your way next Thursday at 3 p.m. So that's it. Everybody stay dry out there. It is raining. But the weekend's supposed to be kind of nice. 55 degrees, 54 degrees or so. A little bit of sun, a little bit of clouds. Try to get outside like Aaron was saying and plant a tree for Arbor Day and pick up some trash. Help the earth and celebrate Earth Day. All right, that's it. We'll see you next week. The LO Cares podcast. Take it easy, everyone.